a philosophy major who had spent time in Korea in the army and then studied in India. He saw quality as a potential unifier of two major philosophical systems around the globe. He hoped to use it in the classroom to guide students in their writing, but he came to see that philosophical reasoning is not our only connection to quality. Values direct our every move, every thought, every impulse, and those of all living things all the time. And no, we don't need to ask anyone. We can see values everywhere. Think of that. Quality is self-evident to everybody. To demonstrate, imagine a delicious food or drink in front of you right now. Feel quality when reaching for it. Or think of music you are drawn to, the sight of someone you love, their touch, or imagine relief from pain. In his second book, Lila, Bob used the example of leaping away after burning yourself on a hot stove. Any person of any philosophic persuasion who sits on a hot stove will verify without any intellectual argument whatsoever that he is in an undeniably low-quality situation, that the value of his predicament is negative. This low quality is not just a vague, woolly-headed, crypto-religious metaphysical abstraction. It is an experience. It is not a judgment about an experience. It is not a description of experience. The value itself is an experience. Bob began exploring this subject when he was trying to get his students to engage their own innate sense of good writing, rather than try to guess what Bob wanted as a professor. His classrooms explored various devices to reveal to the students that they did indeed recognize quality in writing of their own and of each other. He opened up their sensitivity to value. Bob became convinced that not only is quality common to all living things and all experience, it pervades the entire world. The natural world, including each of us, is actually composed of it. And yet quality's central importance is easily missed. Returning to the hot stove, he noted that the scientific test of burning yourself is completely predictable. He continued in Lila, "It is verifiable by anyone who cares to do so. It is reproducible. Of all experience, it is the least ambiguous, least mistakable there is." Later, the person may generate some oaths to describe this low value, but the value will always come first, the oaths second. Without the primary low valuation, the secondary oaths will not follow. But we don't see it as value. By the time we are cursing and jumping around, what we see is a hot stove. Lila argues that humans have a culturally inherited blind spot. We know quality, we experience it continuously, but we fail to recognize it for what it is. Why is quality's importance so hard to perceive? Living beings have evolved an elevated sense of self, or subject, as a lens through which all of reality, other, or object is interpreted. Our honed ability to protect our individual lives creates a perception that we are separate from the rest of existence. It's all quality, but we usually don't see it that way. Buddhism, especially Soto Zen, which Bob studied years after he left teaching, tackles the blind spot through experiential training. In Zen, and in Buddhism generally, quality/Buddha is not approached as a concept. Instead, practitioners explore such centuries-old methods as meditation, mantras, and visualizations to bring about the realization of non-duality, nirvana, and awareness of Buddha, dharma, Rita, or many other characterizations. Concepts are actually barriers to this understanding, in which the separation of subjects and objects is dissolved. Bob's work challenges more teachers of Buddhism and other Eastern traditions to incorporate the universal experience of quality in their teaching. Writing Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, he also knew people constantly disagree about what has quality. That issue, and the difficulty people find in truly dissolving the subject-object split, are the subjects of Lila. Lila proposed static and dynamic levels of quality and of metaphysics as solutions. Is it important to recognize quality as a concept? Bob thought it was. I don't know. People don't need an intellectual understanding of quality in order to jump away from a hot stove, or to reach for food, find a mate, or breathe. But Bob thought it is important to give quality its due. As he wrote in Lila, things become enormously more coherent, fabulously more coherent, when you start with an assumption that quality is a primary